Introduction to the Zorgan Empire. In a galaxy teeming with life, one empire stood out for its imposing presence, the Zorgan Empire. With its sprawling command center situated on a planet rich in resources, it was a hub of military might and strategic planning. Towering aliens with scaly skin, multiple eyes, and long tentacles moved purposefully through the vast hallways, their voices a blend of authority and urgency. Holographic screens flickered with data, displaying tactical maps and fleet statuses as officers scurried about like ants in a colony. At the heart of this bustling command center stood High Commander Zix, an imposing figure whose very presence commanded respect. His numerous eyes scanned the room as he barked orders with a voice that resonated like thunder. "Report," he demanded, causing nearby officers to flinch at his tone. A younger Zorgan lieutenant named Kura slithered forward, his tentacles twitching nervously. "High Commander," he began, his voice steady despite the weight of his task. "Our long-range sensors have detected a new species entering our controlled space." Zix's eyes narrowed with intrigue. "Show me," he commanded. Kura activated the main screen, revealing a small fleet of ships approaching from the edge of Zorgan territory. Compared to the massive warships that formed the backbone of the Zorgan military, these vessels appeared tiny, almost comical in their design. They were unlike anything seen before in this part of the galaxy, their shapes unfamiliar and seemingly primitive. A low chuckle rumbled through Zix's chest, quickly escalating into full-blown laughter that echoed throughout the command center. His fellow officers joined in, their collective mirth filling the air with a sense of superiority and disdain. "These are our new challengers," one officer wheezed between laughs. "They look like toys compared to our mighty fleet." Kura struggled to maintain his composure as he continued his report. "Our initial scans indicate they call themselves humans," he said hesitantly. "They come from a planet called Earth in a previously unexplored sector." Zix waved a tentacle dismissively, his laughter still ringing in his ears. "Humans? Irrelevant. They'll soon learn their place under Zorgan rule." As he spoke, orders were barked throughout the command center. Preparations began for what was expected to be an easy victory over these newcomers. Yet amidst the laughter and bravado, Lieutenant Kura felt an unsettling sensation deep within him, a nagging worry that something about these human ships was amiss. He alone had noticed an unusual energy signature emanating from them during initial scans, one that didn't match anything in the extensive Zorgan database. Days passed as news of humanity's arrival spread like wildfire across the Empire's countless worlds. In bars and gathering places, Zorgans shared jokes about this so-called tiny fleet. In one such establishment on the capital world, off-duty soldiers gathered around a holographic display showcasing images of the human ships. "Look at that pathetic excuse for a warship," one soldier jeered, pointing at the largest vessel on screen. "I've seen space debris more threatening." Another chimed in with mock seriousness. "Maybe they're not warships at all. Perhaps they got lost on their way to a galactic picnic." The bar erupted into laughter as drinks clinked together amid cheers and jeers at humanity's expense. Meanwhile, aboard the flagship Eternal Dominance, High Commander Zix addressed his top officers in a grand chamber adorned with trophies from past conquests. The massive ship stretched several kilometers in length, dwarfing even the largest human vessels by sheer size alone. "My loyal commanders," Zix began, his voice dripping with smug confidence, "today we add another species to our long list of those who bow before us." He paused for effect as cheers erupted from his assembled officers. "These humans think they can challenge our dominion. We shall educate them in the ways of true power." As excitement filled the room, only Commander Vex seemed less than enthusiastic, a fact not lost on Zix's keen perception. "You seem troubled, Vex," he noted sharply. "Surely you're not concerned about these insignificant humans." Vex straightened up under Zix's scrutiny, but remained composed. "Not concerned, High Commander, merely cautious," he replied carefully. "We know little about their capabilities." Zix's laughter cut through Vex's words like a knife. Capabilities. Look at them. Their entire fleet could fit inside one of our hangar bays. This will be a glorious victory. As officers filed out after the meeting concluded, Lieutenant Kura approached Vex quietly. "Commander," he whispered urgently, glancing around to ensure they weren't overheard. "I've been analyzing those human ships. There's something different about them. Something we might be overlooking." Vex turned his attention back to Kura with newfound interest. "Explain." "Their energy signatures are unlike anything we've encountered before," Kura explained hurriedly. "And their maneuverability. It defies our understanding of physics." A flicker of worry crossed Vex's face, but was quickly masked by determination. "Continue your analysis discreetly," Vex instructed firmly. "If you discover anything significant, we'll present it to High Commander Zix." As Kura nodded and hurried away to resume his work, Vex turned toward a viewport overlooking space, a vast expanse filled with stars that seemed to stretch endlessly before him. For years he had served faithfully in this empire known for its military might. Yet now he felt an unfamiliar twinge of uncertainty gnawing at him. What if they were underestimating these humans? What if this tiny fleet held secrets they couldn't begin to comprehend? As preparations continued for what was believed to be an easy victory over humanity's insignificant fleet, Lieutenant Kura worked tirelessly behind closed doors. His mind racing with possibilities while outside, laughter echoed through corridors filled with bravado and confidence. Little did they know that soon enough, their laughter would fade away, replaced by a dawning realization that size isn't everything in this vast universe, where humanity stood ready to prove itself against all odds. The mockery of humanity. As the Zorgan Empire continued to revel in its perceived superiority, the atmosphere in the command center was electric with anticipation. High Commander Zix, still buoyed by his earlier laughter, gathered his most trusted officers for a briefing on the impending encounter with the human fleet. The walls of the command center were adorned with holographic displays showcasing the Zorgan military's might, each image a testament to their past victories. Zix stood at the forefront, his many eyes scanning the faces of his officers. "Today we face a new species," he declared, his voice booming with confidence. "These humans think they can challenge us, but they are nothing more than a fleeting curiosity." The room erupted in cheers and laughter, each officer eager to demonstrate their loyalty to their commander. Among them was Commander Vex, who listened intently but remained skeptical. He had always been cautious, preferring to analyze situations rather than rush into battle unprepared. As Zix continued to mock the humans, Vex felt a growing unease within him. He had spent years studying various species across the galaxy and understood that underestimating an opponent could lead to catastrophic consequences. "High Commander," Vex interjected cautiously, "we should consider gathering more intelligence on these humans before we engage them directly." His words were met with derision from the other officers. "Intelligence?" Zix scoffed. "What do we need to know? They are weak. Look at their ships. They are no match for our firepower." The laughter that followed echoed through the command center, drowning out Vex's concerns. Despite the mockery surrounding him, Vex felt compelled to investigate further. After the meeting adjourned, he discreetly summoned Lieutenant Kura to his quarters. "I want you to continue your analysis of the human ships," he instructed firmly. "We cannot afford to overlook any details." Kura nodded eagerly, grateful for Vex's support. "I've noticed some anomalies in their energy signatures that don't align with our understanding of technology," he explained. "They might possess capabilities we're not aware of." Meanwhile, across the galaxy aboard the flagship Earthrise, Commander Sarah Chen was preparing her crew for what lay ahead. The mood among her team was a stark contrast to that of the Zorgan Command Center. Instead of laughter and mockery, there was a palpable sense of determination and camaraderie. "Listen up, everyone," Chen called out, her voice steady and inspiring as she addressed her crew on the bridge. "We are about to make history. We may be small compared to our opponents, but we have something they lack: ingenuity and resilience. Her words ignited a fire within her crew as they rallied around her vision. Lieutenant Rodriguez stood at her side, monitoring their approach toward Zorgan territory. "All systems are operational, Commander," he reported confidently. "Our adaptive shielding is fully functional, and our quantum drive is stable." Chen smiled at him, appreciating his unwavering dedication. "Good work, Lieutenant. And what about our little surprises?" She raised an eyebrow playfully. Rodriguez grinned back at her enthusiasm. "Ready and waiting. The Zorgans won't know what hit them." As they approached the edge of Zorgan-controlled space, Chen couldn't help but feel a mix of excitement and apprehension. She had spent years preparing for this moment, years dreaming of exploring beyond Earth's atmosphere. And now it was finally happening. "Prepare for first contact," she instructed her crew as they neared their destination. "We come in peace, but are prepared for war if necessary." On board Eternal Dominance, Zix remained oblivious to the brewing storm ahead as he continued to revel in his empire's dominance over what he believed were inferior beings. The Zorgans gathered in bars and gathering places across their worlds shared jokes about humanity's arrival. "Have you seen those human ships?" One soldier laughed heartily as he raised a glass in celebration. "They look like oversized toys. I bet they're powered by hamster wheels." His friends erupted into laughter as they toasted to their impending victory over these so-called challengers. Another soldier chimed in with mock seriousness. "Maybe they're just here for a galactic picnic. Should we offer them some space sandwiches?" The laughter continued unabated as Zorgans reveled in their perceived superiority. Yet amidst this revelry, Commander Vex remained troubled by what he had learned from Kura's analysis. He took it upon himself to gather more data on the human fleet while keeping it hidden from Zix and other officers who were too consumed by their arrogance. As days turned into hours leading up to the confrontation, Vex worked tirelessly alongside Kura in secret, analyzing every detail they could gather about humanity's technology and capabilities. "Look here." Kura pointed at a holographic display showcasing one of the human ship's energy readings. "This spike indicates a potential for advanced weaponry or defensive systems that we haven't encountered before." Vex nodded thoughtfully as he studied the data closely. "We need to prepare for every possible scenario," he said firmly. "If these humans possess technology beyond our comprehension, we must be ready." As tensions mounted between both fleets, one brimming with confidence while the other prepared cautiously, the stage was set for an encounter that would change everything. Back aboard Earthrise, Commander Chen gathered her crew once more before entering Zorgan space. "Remember," she said firmly but encouragingly, "we may be small in size, but we carry within us centuries of ingenuity and determination. We will show them that humanity is not to be underestimated." With spirits high and hearts racing, both fleets moved closer toward an inevitable confrontation, one that would reveal whether laughter could withstand the shock of reality when faced with true resilience and strength from an unexpected source. As both sides prepared for what lay ahead, the Zorgans still basking in their arrogance, while humans steeled themselves for battle, the galaxy held its breath in anticipation of what would unfold next. The human fleet approaches. As the Zorgan Empire continued to prepare for what they believed would be an easy victory, the human fleet, led by the flagship Earthrise, advanced steadily through the vastness of space. The atmosphere aboard the human ships was charged with anticipation and determination. Commander Sarah Chen stood at the helm of Earthrise, her gaze fixed on the holographic displays that illuminated the bridge. Each screen showed vital information about their approach to Zorgan territory, and she felt a mixture of excitement and responsibility weighing heavily on her shoulders. A new era of exploration. "Status report," Chen commanded, her voice steady amidst the hum of machinery and chatter from her crew. Lieutenant Rodriguez, her second in command, quickly responded. "All systems are green, Commander. The quantum drive is stable, and our adaptive shielding is at full capacity." Chen nodded appreciatively. "Good work, everyone. Let's remember why we're here. This is not just about survival. It's about establishing humanity's place in the galaxy. Her words resonated with her crew, igniting a fire within them as they prepared for what lay ahead. The human fleet was unlike anything the Zorgans had encountered before. Each ship was a marvel of engineering, sleek and compact, yet brimming with advanced technology. The Earthrise itself was constructed from a revolutionary nanomaterial that could repair itself in seconds, making it a formidable opponent despite its smaller size compared to Zorgan warships. Showcasing human ingenuity. As they approached Zorgan space, Commander Chen decided it was time to showcase some of their unique technologies. "Prepare our scout ships," she instructed. "Let's send them ahead to gather intel on the Zorgan fleet." The small scout vessels zipped ahead, their cloaking devices making them invisible to Zorgan sensors. Meanwhile, other ships in the fleet began deploying swarms of nanobots that created a protective cloud around them, enhancing their defensive capabilities. Back on the Zorgan flagship, Eternal Dominance, High Commander Zix watched the approaching human ships with growing confusion. "Why can't we get a clear reading on their capabilities?" he demanded, his voice laced with frustration. Lieutenant K. Gao, monitoring the sensors, shook his head in bewilderment. "Unknown, sir. Our scans seem to slide off their hulls. And those smaller ships, they're one moment and gone the next." The cautious voice. Commander Vex stepped forward, his earlier caution now seeming prudent. "High Commander," he said carefully, "perhaps we should reconsider our approach. These humans seem to possess technology we don't fully understand." Zix's eyes narrowed dangerously at Vex's suggestion. "Are you suggesting we retreat from these tiny interlopers?" "Not retreat, sir," Vex replied firmly, but diplomatically. "I propose a more cautious approach, a diplomatic meeting perhaps, to assess their intentions and capabilities." For a long moment, Zix was silent, his multiple eyes blinking in rapid succession as he weighed Vex's words against his own pride. Finally, he nodded reluctantly. "Very well. Prepare a communication channel." First contact preparations. As preparations for first contact began aboard Earthrise, Commander Chen gathered her crew once more on the bridge. "This is it," she said with a determined look in her eyes. "We're about to make history. Remember, we come in peace but are prepared for war if necessary." Her crew nodded in agreement, their spirits high as they readied themselves for whatever lay ahead. They knew that their very existence could hinge on this encounter. "Open communications," Chen ordered as they entered Zorgan-controlled space. "Channel open," Rodriguez confirmed. With bated breath, Chen initiated contact with the Zorgan flagship Eternal Dominance. The screen flickered to life, revealing High Commander Zix's imposing figure surrounded by his officers. "Zorgans," Chen began confidently but respectfully. "This is Commander Sarah Chen of the human fleet from Earth. We wish to establish peaceful relations with your empire." Zix regarded her with a mixture of amusement and disdain. "Humans, you dare approach us with such audacity?" His laughter echoed through the communication channel. "Underestimating humanity." Chen remained composed despite Zix's mocking tone. "We are not here to challenge you, but to explore possibilities for cooperation between our species." Zix leaned forward slightly, intrigued yet skeptical. "Cooperation? What can your tiny fleet offer us?" Chen took a deep breath before responding. "Humanity has faced countless challenges throughout history and emerged stronger each time. We possess technology that may benefit both our civilizations if you're willing to listen." The laughter among Zix's officers faded as curiosity took hold. Vex watched intently from behind Zix. He sensed an opportunity amidst the tension. "Very well," Zix replied after a moment of contemplation. "We shall hear what you have to say. But know this, any sign of weakness will be met with swift retribution." A moment of truth. With that warning hanging in the air like a storm cloud, Chen felt a surge of determination coursing through her veins. This was not just about survival. It was about proving humanity's worth in a galaxy that often underestimated them. "Thank you for your willingness to listen," she said earnestly. "We believe that together we can achieve great things. If only you give us a chance. As both fleets hovered in space, one brimming with confidence while the other prepared cautiously, the stage was set for an encounter that would change everything. Commander Chen understood that this moment could either forge an alliance or ignite an interstellar conflict that would have dire consequences for both species. In this vast universe where size often dictated strength, humanity stood ready to prove that ingenuity and resilience could triumph over sheer power, a truth that would soon be revealed as both fleets braced for what lay ahead. The Zorgan fleet mobilizes. As the communication channel opened, the atmosphere aboard the Eternal Dominance shifted from one of mockery to cautious curiosity. High Commander Zix, still brimming with confidence, leaned forward in his chair, his multiple eyes fixated on the holographic image of Commander Sarah Chen. The Zorgan officers around him exchanged glances, their laughter fading into an uneasy silence. "Commander Chen," Zix began, his voice dripping with a mix of condescension and intrigue. "You speak of cooperation as if it were a possibility. What can your tiny fleet possibly offer us that we do not already possess?" Chen maintained her composure, aware that Zix's arrogance could easily lead to miscalculations. "We may be small, but our ingenuity and adaptability have allowed us to survive against overwhelming odds. We have technologies that can enhance your capabilities and foster a mutually beneficial relationship." Zix's expression remained skeptical, but Vex, standing at the back of the command center, felt a flicker of hope. Perhaps there was more to these humans than their size suggested. He stepped forward cautiously, addressing Zix. "High Commander, it may be wise to consider her proposal seriously. We cannot underestimate their potential." Zix shot Vex a sharp look, but nodded reluctantly. "Very well. We shall allow you to present your technologies in a demonstration. But know this: any sign of deceit will be met with swift retribution." Preparing for demonstration. Back aboard the Earthrise, excitement buzzed among the crew as they prepared for the upcoming demonstration. Commander Chen gathered her team on the bridge, her eyes sparkling with determination. "Listen up," she called out, commanding attention. "This is our chance to show the Zorgans what humanity is capable of. We need to demonstrate our technology effectively and prove that we are not to be underestimated." Lieutenant Rodriguez stepped forward, his enthusiasm infectious. "We've prepared a series of demonstrations showcasing our adaptive shielding and nanobot technology. They won't know what hit them." Chen nodded approvingly. "Let's make sure we highlight our strengths while remaining respectful. We want to show them that cooperation is possible." As preparations continued, Chen couldn't shake off the feeling that this encounter would define humanity's future in the galaxy. The Zorgan fleet mobilizes. Meanwhile, on the Eternal Dominance, Zix ordered his fleet to mobilize for the demonstration. Thousands of Zorgan warships began to align themselves in formation, a magnificent display of military might that filled space with an imposing presence. "Prepare for the demonstration," Zix commanded with authority. "Let us see what these humans can truly do." As the Zorgan ships moved into position, Vex observed closely from his station. He noted how the human fleet moved with an elegance that contrasted sharply with the bulkiness of Zorgan vessels. There was something almost graceful about their approach. "Commander," Vex said quietly to Zix, "I believe we should keep our defensive systems on standby during this demonstration." Zix waved him off dismissively. "Nonsense. We are here to show strength. Let them display their tricks. We shall crush them if they attempt anything foolish." Vex sighed inwardly, but knew better than to press further. The demonstration begins. As both fleets positioned themselves for the demonstration, Chen stood at the helm of Earthrise, ready to initiate their showcase of technology. She took a deep breath and addressed her crew one last time. "Remember, this is about more than just technology. It's about showing our resolve as a species. Let's make history together." With a nod from Chen, Rodriguez activated the communication link with Zix's flagship. "High Commander," Chen began confidently, "we are ready to begin our demonstration." Zix leaned forward eagerly, curiosity piqued despite himself. "Proceed." The first demonstration involved their adaptive shielding technology, a system designed to absorb and redirect energy from incoming attacks. Chen instructed her crew to simulate an attack on Earthrise using harmless energy bursts. Deploy energy bursts, Rodriguez commanded as beams of light shot toward Earthrise. The ship's shields flared brightly as they absorbed the energy without a hitch. Zix's eyes widened slightly at this unexpected display of resilience. He hadn't anticipated such advanced shielding capabilities from humans, showcasing human ingenuity. Next came the nanobot swarms, tiny machines capable of repairing damage and enhancing defensive capabilities in real time. Chen initiated another simulation where she instructed her crew to create a protective cloud around Earthrise using swarms of nanobots. Deploy nanobots, she ordered as thousands of tiny robots burst forth from the ship's hull, forming a shimmering barrier around them. Zix watched intently as the nanobots began repairing minor damage simulated by energy bursts from his own fleet, an impressive feat that left many Zorgans murmuring among themselves. "This is remarkable," Vex admitted quietly to himself as he observed both fleets' reactions. A moment of realization. As the demonstrations continued, Shen felt a surge of pride for her crew and humanity as a whole. They had come so far, from being seen as insignificant beings on a small planet to standing before an empire known for its might. "Now you see," she addressed Zix directly through the communication link, "we are not just small ships. We are resilient and innovative beings capable of great things." Zix remained silent for a moment before responding, his tone slightly softer than before. "Perhaps there is more to you than I initially believed." But just as hope began to bloom within Chen and her crew, alarms suddenly blared throughout both fleets, a warning that shattered the momentary peace. "What's happening?" Chen shouted as she turned toward Rodriguez. "Unknown vessels approaching rapidly," he replied urgently, scanning the screens for information. Zix's expression shifted from curiosity to alarm as he barked orders at his officers. "Prepare for battle. Identify those ships immediately. Unexpected allies or new enemies." As both fleets braced for potential conflict, Chen felt her heart race with uncertainty. Who were these new vessels? Were they allies or enemies? She exchanged worried glances with her crew. They had just begun forging a path toward cooperation when chaos threatened once again. Vex stood at his station aboard Eternal Dominance, torn between duty and hope for peace. He understood that this unexpected turn could either unite or divide them further. "Commander," he called out urgently to Zix, "we must assess whether these new ships pose a threat before engaging." Zix hesitated but then nodded reluctantly. "Very well. Let us determine their intentions first." As tensions mounted in space, the looming threat of unknown vessels overshadowing their fragile alliance, both fleets prepared for whatever lay ahead. In this vast universe where misunderstandings could lead to conflict or cooperation could forge alliances, the fate of humanity hung precariously in balance as they faced not only external threats, but also internal doubts about their place in this new reality. "Commander," he called out urgently to Zix, "we must assess whether these new ships pose a threat before engaging." Zix hesitated but then nodded reluctantly. "Very well. Let us determine their intentions first." As tensions mounted in space, the looming threat of unknown vessels overshadowing their fragile alliance, both fleets prepared for whatever lay ahead. In this vast universe where misunderstandings could lead to conflict or cooperation could forge alliances, the fate of humanity hung precariously in balance as they faced not only external threats but also internal doubts about their place in this new reality.